Okay, I don't know a lot about Alaska, but I know that it's pretty cool and it's the top state to go to in the USA. Alaska, one of the two states that doesn't border any other states. Guess you'd rather hang out with Canada instead. Alaska is located on the North American plate. It is surrounded by two oceans, the Pacific and the Arctic, and it is the only state to border two oceans. Alaska is also surrounded by 5 smaller bodies of water: the Bering Strait to the west, the Chukchi Sea to the northwest, the Beaufort Sea to the north, the Gulf of Alaska to the south, and the Bering Sea to the far east, where Alaska's small Aleutian Islands are. Alaska borders Yukon, Canada to the east and British Columbia to the southeast. The specific borders are going to be way too hard to explain, so in the simplest way I can put it, straight line, squiggly met, river, hector straight, and then just coast. It's a 54-mile swim from Nalgonhiaka, Russia, to Wales, Alaska. It has 2 handles, one made of island and the other made of coasts and mountains. Mine's better. Look, I can barely see the border on Google Maps because of the Pacific and North American plate. Oh yeah, the coast lies directly on the Ring of Fire, making many mountains and earthquakes. Oh man, that would have been such a good transition into geography. But I had to do it in order and think of a funny transition so that you'll be at least slightly more interested and you might actually learn something. Now, let's see what the location of Alaska affects the flag. Haha! Nailed it!
Flag with Phil.
Good day, y'all. My name is Phil. I'm not from Alaska. Okay, let's jump right into this. The flag of Alaska was adopted on May 2nd, 1927. It has a dark blue field that has 8 gold stars forming the constellations, the Big Dipper and Polaris. The blue field represents the sky and the Alaskan flower, Forget-Me-Not. Don't worry, we won't forget you. Polaris is the single large star in the top right corner. It is also known as the North Star for the northernmost state. Unfortunately, the vertical orientation has the North Star at the bottom. Either the flag makers were stupid or there's a deeper meaning to this. Maybe the North is actually supposed to be at the bottom, and we're all just upside down. Anyways, the Big Dipper is the smaller 7 stars. It is a part of the Ursa Major, which symbolizes a bear. In other words, there is a bear's butt on the flag of Alaska. Anyways, let's talk about the origin. There was a contest for kids from the ages of 12 to 18 in Alaska to see who could come up with the flag for their state. The winner was a 14-year-old native orphan. He won $1,000 and a watch. Not bad for a 14-year-old. Alright, that's all I have to say. So bye, y'all.
It feels kind of funny that we're doing the second to last state second. For such a big state, its cities are barely populated. Only Fairbanks, Anchorage, and the capital, Juneau, have a decent amount of people. Alaska has 16 boroughs, yes, they're called boroughs, mostly named after cities such as Juneau, Anchorage, and Nome. Alaska gets most of its money off of agriculture, mining, and manufacturing. You already know the 3 most populated cities, Fairbanks, Anchorage, and Juneau. I've already mentioned them 3 times. As mentioned, and at the beginning of society, Alaska is the 49th state and is called, sometimes, the last frontier.
The first people migrated to Alaska about 15,000 years ago, during the Ice Age, when there was a frozen land bridge between Siberia to Alaska called Beringia. The group of people split into 2 groups, one stayed in Beringia and the other moved to North and South America. Most indigenous groups hunted sea animals while those living inland hunted caribou. Russians came to Alaska in the mid-1700s. Some Native Americans were barely impacted by the colonists, while others, especially those who lived near the Aleutian Islands, were forced to hunt by the Russians. Later, many converted to Russian Orthodox and Creoles, people who are half Russian and half Alaskan started popping up. After Russia lost the Crimean War to Great Britain, they were in a lot of debt. So instead of selling Alaska to Britain or any other European nation, they sold it to America. After the American Civil War, William Seward decided to buy Alaska so that Americans can move to Alaska and manifest their destiny. In 1867, Seward purchased Alaska for the United States for $7.2 million, or about 2 cents an acre.
Wow, that's as cheap as dirt. Well, I mean it is kinda dirt.
Anyway, everyone thought the purchase of Alaska was stupid because it was a frozen wasteland, so American expansion was slow. Religious missionaries began migrating into the territory and tried to Americanize the indigenous population. About 100 years later, Alaska became the 49th state on January 3, 1959.
So, that's it. Okay, just kidding, there's more. Mountains and rivers scatter the land, and some notable ones are Mount McKinley, the Yukon River, the Alaska Range, and Tanana River. Alaska has over 3 million lakes scattered across the landscape. But, I'm the land of 10,000 lakes. Too bad, Minnesota. Anyway, go southeast and you'll find the Aleutian Islands, which is made up of about 300 islands, and one of those islands is called Unalaska Island. And there's a city on Unalaska Island called Unalaska, in Alaska. Interesting. Anyway, temperatures can usually go from 90 to -80 degrees Fahrenheit. Some important national parks include Denali National Park, Katmai National Park, and Lake Clark National Park. Some common animals in Alaska are moose, wolves, mountain goats, salmon, bears, whales, eagles, puffins, ravens, and owls. There's also a lot of metals like zinc, iron, and gold in Alaska, although there are more a long time ago. To conclude, Alaska may look cold, mountainous, and unpopulated on the outside, but on the inside, there's a warm, cozy cabin with a good view of the Big Dipper that could be waiting for you. But hey, while you're still watching, stay tuned. Arizona is coming up next.